We good? Good morning. Welcome to our May 9th meeting that we have for a press conference. So we're glad to have you here and talk to you about a couple things that happened last week, a couple things that are going to go on this week, and then happy to answer your question. Obviously, the big one yesterday, Mother's Day. Hope all of our mothers had a great day. Couldn't ask for a better day for the weather. We had a good time. We had my daughter got back in town Saturday, so we were able to celebrate Mother's Day yesterday, and then took my mother-in-law out to dinner. So we had a good Mother's Day, and I hope everyone out there did as well. And hopefully all of our moms out there had a great Mother's Day. Also last week, another big day that happened, Galvez Day. We had a number of visitors from Spain, from the province of Malaga, which includes Metropolitan. That's a town. There are a bunch of other little towns around the Malaga area. We were flying. We may still be flying. We had a flag out there from Malaga that we were flying instead of the French flag they had given to us here at City Hall. We appreciated that. Had some other gifts that they had given us, but we certainly enjoyed having them in town. Interesting enough, Metropolitan is one of the only towns that celebrates, outside the United States, that celebrates the 4th of July. They have a big celebration. They celebrate the Battle of Pensacola because of Bernardo de Galvez, and they celebrate the 4th of July. Their mayor was in town, a couple other mayors that were, like I said, were in the region, and the president of the Malaga province was in town, and we had a good time with them. They had a great day. It was a very nice day. We had a little bit of weather, but we managed to get it all in before it rained. But the weather turned great. I think they were going out for a visit on the water. I was not able to go with them on Saturday, but I think they had a great time. And the reason I was not able to go out Saturday is we had the Rotary Burger Battle by the Bay. So multiple Rotary clubs. Although I did not see my home club have a team there, but I think Michelle Salzman and Bert Thornton from Waffle House and we judged the professional competition, and it was a lot of hamburgers. I didn't realize. I thought they were only going to give us quarters. They gave us 4 big burgers. So, needless to say, I took some home to my wife and left some other there for somebody else to have, cut them up. Again, it was a lot of food, good calls. I think they were celebrating the Take Stock in Children, which certainly supports things that are happening in our schools. So very much appreciate them doing that, and I think that was a big success on Saturday. The weather couldn't have been better. It was good to be out in Maritime Park and see the things that were going on there. I know I've talked with Amy Tootle. I know that there is a corner in that southwest corner that we have that we still have not finished construction on. It's my understanding that is due to some supply issues with getting pavers, so we're awaiting pavers to get that finished. They have not gotten to that point yet where they've supposed to have been finished, but obviously supply issues are hurting everybody, so as soon as we can get those, we should finish up that project. And I know there are some other problems with the lighting, and I've talked to Amy about that, and she's supposed to be getting back and seeing what we can do to get those lights on out there. Obviously, we're still progressing with all of our other things from the Hurricane Sally, and we've just gotten back a ton of positive FEMA news that we're getting back supporting several of the initiatives, and this is the challenge everybody talks about. I wish it would have been a lot faster myself, but we are just getting through. We've been getting notifications from the state of Florida saying that we are now funded for a variety of things that we put in for, so we continue to get those in, and we're trying to get them out as fast as possible. I know Crawfish Festival, there were some lights on Zaragoza that were still out, and we're still working through that. So we continue to work through as many hurricane issues as we can. And finally, certainly a day that I really appreciate. It's somewhat solemn, but it's certainly one I very much appreciate. It was the Pbd Law Enforcement Memorial Day. We'll also this week be celebrating Law Enforcement Week. So very much appreciate all of those individuals who serve us in law enforcement, make sure that we have order out of chaos, and they do a great job every day protecting us. And sometimes they do pay the ultimate price. We've had a number of unfortunately, over our 200-year history, individuals who have been killed in the line of duty, and we recognized those individuals last week in a nice ceremony at PPD. So I certainly always enjoy being a part of that and appreciate the opportunity to be there with Chief and the team and the command staff. And they certainly do a great job for us, and we very much appreciate everything they do. Things that are going on right now: Pensacola International Airport adds a new economy lot with over 330 spaces. Economy Lot 3 is now open, and 339 parking spaces and 11 electric vehicle charging stations to handicap accessible electric vehicle charging stations. The rates for Economy Lot 3 will mirror the airport's existing Lots 1 and 2, which are $2 per hour up to $8 a day. The International Airport shuttle will include a stop at Economy Lot 3. The shuttle is free and runs a continuous loop throughout the airport. Economy Lot 3 is what runs right there along 12th Avenue in front of the Hyatt Place Hotel. The entrance to Economy Lot 3 is on College Boulevard, so you can access there, and there's more. We have more parking. Obviously, our goal is we're gonna lose some parking as we get ready to expand the deck there, and so we wanted to be prepared to be able to handle more surface parking. But we just need more surface parking anyways at this particular time. But we know we got a lot of growing pains, and we're going to continue to keep focused on growing the airport. We also this year, this week, we'll have a public unveiling of a new art that has been placed in Bartram Park. The City Parks and Recreation Department invites the community to attend a public art unveiling ceremony on Wednesday, May 11th at noon to celebrate the installation of the Overture sculpture in Bartram Park. The Overture sculpture was designed by sculptor Jerry Guy and was donated by city resident Holly Benson. Holly was obviously grew up. I went to high school with Holly. She here represented us. She left for a while, went to St. Louis. I'm going to St. Louis this summer. I know they have a big sculpture park in the middle of their downtown. Holly is doing her best to, now this is her second piece. This is her third piece she's donated to us, and she actually has plans for a fourth. So Holly is single-handedly creating our sculpture garden. But again, I think it's always good to have public art. It creates those opportunities for people to see that, and it works well with our parks, and we look forward to unveiling it. I think both the planes is a great piece of art, and this one will be a great piece of art as well that will look out over the bay. So we invite you to come out on May 11th. This is a reminder that the city is seeking applications for the summer intern program. The City of Pensacola is offering internship opportunities for eligible youth 16 to 24 through the summer intern program. Internships are available in a variety of city departments, and they promote career development while providing paid on-the-job work experience. The summer youth intern program will run Friday, June 3rd through Friday, July 29th. Applications are due Friday, May 20th at 4 o'clock. Visit cityofpensacola.com to learn more about the requirements and how to apply. So I hope you will take advantage of those opportunities. We have a city council meeting this week. Obviously, the agenda conference is today. We'll be discussing several things. We'll also have a CRA meeting and then city council meeting on Thursday. There are a number of issues that are out there that we'll be discussing. I mean, the big one, certainly seeing Marcy in the back. Housing will be a big part of where we want to go. We don't have the Baptist Hospital. They need another 2 weeks to come back to us. They're going to come back the following 2 weeks and do their presentation, but we're going to go forward with ours. We have some plans. Obviously, we believe that much of the plans that we're doing are a part of what we're doing, and then we're going to partner with what's going to happen at Baptist Hospital. But we think housing is something we need to be heavily involved in trying to help generate the supply of, because we continue to see challenges in pricing. And I think it's important that we work to do that, and we've been creating a program to do that, and I appreciate Marcy and her team doing that. I also did want to recognize, talking about interns, I want to talk about our youth council. I see Kelsey in the back. They've done an incredible job. They are finishing up this year. They've done a number of things. They've had a chance to, certainly this will be their chance to go to City Hall and experience that. But they've gone to Tallahassee. They've done a number of initiatives. They've even picked a project to work on, and they did a significant amount of work for helping us with homeless reduction and things that we could do with helping the homeless. Very impressed by these students and the time they've given in trying to help and trying to make our community better. Really appreciate them being a part of it, and I hope they got a lot out of it in leadership training. And I really appreciate Kelsey and Lawrence and their department putting this on and working to get this done. It's been something very nice, just like our intern program. We are definitely investing in youth, and the best way we can do that is helping make a better community tomorrow, is investing in our youth today. So we certainly have been doing that, and I encourage you to come out and see those individuals. They'll be there on Thursday night. Finally, I think we just have a lot of issues that are going on. I know it's unfortunate that that since we started the skate park, and a number of issues that have happened related to bids, materials, labor, a variety of things, the bid came in about 10% higher than what we currently had funded for it. We've put together an asking for the council to move that forward. We've done a lot of engineering, a lot of studying, and we're ready to go. And at this point, we've committed to it. And I hate when anything goes more expensive, but that's where we are with almost everything we're bidding right now. And I don't think we're alone in that. I think everybody's experiencing that. And so at this point, I think we've made a commitment. We've told people this is something we've said for a long time. This is a park and recreation amenity that we didn't have in our community. We wanted to be a part of the Hollis T. Williams Park, and we've told the county this is going to be our commitment into the Hollis T. Williams Park, as we look for the county and the restore and NERDA monies from the state to take up most of the rest of Hollis T. Williams. So, from this standpoint, I really would like us to see us move this project forward. I think everybody hates what things cost, but that's the challenge we're running everywhere. I think obviously the amenities that we're already invested in are the ones we need to keep moving forward and keep making a difference. We do a variety of different things, whether it was investing and doing the things we did at Legion Field. That was the right thing to do. Hitzman Park was the right thing to do. The things we want to eventually do at Roger Scott are the right things to do, and so is the skate park. These are all amenities that we're doing for our community. You may not use one of them, but all of them, but we hope you use one of them, and that's what we're hoping for. And I think that's why we do a variety of different things in our parks and rec and what we've got going on. There's a lot of things we can do in priorities, but I think it's challenging when we have initiatives for funding that haven't really gone through staff that are asking for funding on something for new pier space when we're just about to build significant public pier space at the Maritime Park, and we have other priorities out there that certainly need funding and other projects that need to move forward. So I think this is why we've also got to be more deliberate in how we do things and working together and finding ways to really put projects toward what we say are our priorities. We say housing is a priority. I think it's from that standpoint, it's hypocritical for us to go and create new initiatives now when we should be looking at housing. So I think for us, we need to find a way to support the programs we've already got and the initiatives we've got going, finish those out. If there are new programs, I think we need to put our money where we've said is housing. So I think one of the most important initiatives we can do. And that's sort of where we are as we go into this week and go into this meeting. So I hope these are things we'll be able to achieve. Staff's been working very hard to create the kind of community that people want to live in, and I think it's paid off all the way around. We just need to stay the course and finish out our projects that we're working on and keep moving forward. But that's enough for me. I'm opening up to your questions. Happy to answer your questions at this time. Yes?
The skate park, you said there's what I hear is $300,000
shortfall, correct. Shortfall.
So where can we find where can the city council or the CRA find some of that money?
There's certainly places there. There's a thing today that says they want to take $169,000 and create boat slips while we're already creating about $2 million worth of boat slips at Maritime Park. There's other money in there. It's just a place of us going and find it. We find things within the CRA. The staff has put forward projects that we want to do. It's something we're committed to. It's the whole vision of what we want to do with Hollis T. Williams is so important. I would have loved for the bid to come in at 1.8, but again, I think what we're seeing everywhere at this particular time, it's not. Everyone is having challenges with what prices were estimated before, and then what we find out we're able to get them for. So, the fact that we were 10% off or so, 15% off, I still think is for what we're experiencing today and seeing with the shortages both in labor and materials, it's normal. That's kind of par for the course. So, I mean, in some ways, there are other projects that are much more significantly higher actual than estimates than this 15%. Yes?
Mayor, could you run through as quickly as you can the scope and dimensions of the bid that's out in terms of what that buys the project over there?
For the skate park?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I would have to defer to David or Adrian to get the exact scope. My understanding is it's going to get the entire skate park, all the parts that are in there. It's got the sidewalks and the restroom, correct?
Not the restroom, we do not.
Okay.
The bid, would allow.
That,
Okay.
Mayor, that's the reason I was asking. We've gotten several notes the last couple of days about the restrooms were not included in this, and that we're told that you had committed to restrooms early on.
We want restrooms to be there. Obviously, the challenge is funding. I mean, there are a variety of different places. We've got some things going in through DIB. We want to put some restrooms in downtown. We want to find a way to do a restroom at Veterans Park, and I think at the end of the day, we'd love to get a restroom here. But at this particular time, the other parts of the park, it's going to have to take a while before we can get there. These are all the challenges that we run into. But I tell you what, you get the park there, you can as you build up money, you can get a restroom. And certainly what we're seeing with our CRA, we're seeing it more and more funding is able to come together from it. So, I would like to see us try to move forward and get something started and at least get something done. And then from there, we can always come back. We have it all in place. We have it planned. We know exactly where it needs to go and where the pipes and everything can go, and we can have it set up so that it all comes in when we have the funding to do that. But I know right now we're trying to do restrooms downtown on Palafox, and obviously, a big one for us that's going to come up in a couple of weeks is the restroom at the Veterans Park, and we have a plan that we think we'd love to see permanent bathrooms at the. It's going to cost money. I mean, that's one of the challenges we've got, but that's one of the things we got to work on.
In reference to the skate park, wasn't there some discussion early on about public-private partnerships at the skate park?
Correct. I mean, I don't.
Shell was going to raise private money.
Correct.
Is that
I don't
still
think.
the future here?
I think there's been private funding raised that is contributed as a part of this, but I don't think we reached the level that was originally thought in the expectation. So, I wish we had more funding in there. I mean, this is why all these things come together are challenges. We celebrated Day of the Galvez, Day in the statue. I contributed to that from Muscogee County's money. City didn't put any money forward, and essentially the rest of it is run by private individuals. So, we do get things done by private individuals. We have not been as successful in getting as much on the skate park, but I don't think the desire is there. It may just be the dollars have not been there from the donors, but I certainly know as far as need in the community, there's a big. We continue to get comments. I know David gets a significant amount of comments, people asking when this is going to be done and what we're going to do. And I think we started the process, we got it put together, and it's a big chunk of what we want to do. So I think it's an amenity we want to see happen, and I'd love to find a way to do restrooms in there, just like I'd love to find a way to get restrooms done at the Veterans Park and downtown. Any other questions? All right, John.
I got two sort of suspense questions here.
All right.
FPL franchise negotiations. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, we've had all the meetings with all the council members. We've kind of put together what we think are. There are several things that I think are part of the franchise agreement that we're going to push forward. There are some of the things that came out of those meetings that were good ideas, but they're not really part of the franchise agreement. Things like looking at Gulf Power or FP&L involved more in trying to bring up infrastructure in older homes and help kind of like what Gulf Power used to do with Good Sense Homes and some of the things that they invested in helping people find ways to get newer technology, better, more efficient technology in their house. So we certainly hope that will be a part of what we see happening. There were some questions in some of these older homes, how we do that. And I mean, like I said, I remember, golly, that program seemed like it was around since the 80s when I was a kid, Good Sense Homes. So, you know, I mean, something like that we would love to see FP&L pick up and do. That's not necessarily part of the franchise, but those were ideas that came out of there. So we will be coming forward. We're right now trying to circle together. I know last week Kareth was out, but he's got somebody he knows who's been involved in doing some of these negotiations and looking for us to find somebody who can work with us. But my biggest thing was, before we talk to anybody working for us, the first thing we need to be able to tell them is what we want to do. I think we have a good picture of that after getting together with staff and reviewing, as well as getting together with all 7 council members and really kind of putting a total package together. So I do expect that sometime we'll be getting back with FP&L and begin to put those initiatives forward.
Are you satisfied with the progress at this point?
Well, I mean, there hadn't been. I'm satisfied with what we've done to resolve the things that are important to us, and I think it's more than where we were before, as we were just trying to negotiate based off what we had before. And I think now we're really trying to think of ideas that are important to the community, or at least important to staff and elected officials. And you know, I think from that standpoint, we've got a more targeted and focused ask that we would like to do in the franchise. So that I think we will have going forward, and we'll go from there. And you said you had a second question?
Lots 4 and 5. You with the
Lots 4 and
say exploding cost, as you said this morning, in materials and labor.
Lots 4 and 5.
What's up with lots 4 and 5?
Lots 4 and 5 are still progressing forward. The problem is, it's not just a lease agreement. It's a leasing agreement. It's a parking agreement, and now it's a CRA to deal with to get the beneficial the reinvestment of the taxes back in with the affordable housing. We need to have to do a separate agreement for that too. What we have what's it called? What are we looking at? I can't remember what it's called, but it's the agreement basically that allows us to take if they do affordable housing, then it allows them to recoup their real estate taxes back into the program. Yeah,
It's the TIF rebate.
yeah, the TIF, project. So again, from that standpoint, that was another agreement, and so Charlie and his team have been working through it. They've done an incredible job. It's, you know, again, one agreement would have been difficult. This is 3 agreements, and they've all got to really be done at the same time. You can't do one without the other. And I think we got started and we were like, okay, we are going to do the lease agreement, and we got the lease agreement kind of done, and then we were, we got to do the parking agreement. We did the parking agreement, then it was like, okay, we got to do this one too. And so we have the whole package. I think that we're kind of getting settled off on, and we're negotiating back with them. But it's, you know, again, it's not simply one thing. It's three different fairly significant negotiations that you're trying to have at one time. My hope is that in June we will be coming back to City Council with something at this particular time. But no, it's been a little bit challenging to go through all the documents and get them all put together from scratch. And I think Charlie and his team have done a good job with that. It's never easy, but they've gotten some stuff done.
Are you hearing anything from Inspire about their plans with the cost of materials and inflation's going on, changing their view of this?
I think everybody is. I think this is why there's a lot of things we talked about probably 3 months ago about challenges that we said, hey, at a certain time you have to start paying, and why everybody is trying to push out. Because I don't think anybody who's looking to build today exactly tomorrow. They want to build, but there is this expectation that the material cost will come back in line over the next 12 to 18 months. The risk you always do is on the development side is, you know, what happens to your demand. Although I think at this particular time we've got strong demand that we'll have going through there. So I think they've been sort of willing to take those risks in hopes that the supply side risk will resolve themselves by that time. I mean, there are multiple people who have come and talked to us about plans that they thought are doing construction, but they're holding off right now just because for the reasons you just mentioned. The risk of that is you lose your demand. I would say, I feel fairly good. I was on the radio interview this morning. Feel fairly good about where we stand with demand. I mean, people want to come here. We continue to see that. We see businesses wanting to come here. Rick was asking me about Twitter, and I was like, hey, whatever people want to come, they can come. I've been very impressed by the things that we have added. I rolled off a number of things, the cyclogene. We've had expansions at Aftergraph, Pegasus, which is really in our biotech what we want to do. Obviously, aviation, where we stand with continuing to expand ST, expand the airport. There are a number of things out there that we continue to press forward on all fronts, and we continue to see ourselves be a very attractive place for businesses to want to be. So I continue to hear companies all the time saying, hey, they are excited about what they hear is going on in Pensacola. And so those are things that we're certainly looking at. I kind of joked back with him that obviously if I know he said our CFO was trying to get Twitter here, I said, well, I remember we was trying to get In-N-Out Burger, and I'm still waiting to get one of those. They've got really good burgers. I'm partial to Whataburger fries, but I do like In-N-Out burgers. So we'll see what happens. But I think Florida's a good place for people to invest. I think I just look at what's happening all over. I guess last week I ran to Justin Beck. He was telling me, unlike other real estate markets, our office product market is almost totally saturated. I mean, other places that people are having significant problems with certain segments of their market, Pensacola is not having a problem. People continue to want to come here and find office space. They want to come here and find warehouse space. They want to come here and do business, houses, apartments, you name it. People want to come here, and I think it's because we've invested in the amenities we've done, and I think that's big about why we need to do things to stay focused on things like the skate park that we're doing, stay focused on the day slips for the Maritime Marina, keep the things that we've done that we've pledged we're going to do, because those are the things that people will say, hey, it's unbelievable that a community its size has such quality things and such diversity in what it's doing, and I think that's what makes Pensacola great. And that's what we want to keep doing at Parks and Rec and at the City of Pensacola. Jeremy, I know somewhere in between John's two questions, you had a question?
I was just wondering if the city had any further contact with DCUA about doing that.
We have. We've talked to them. I talked to Bruce Woody again. If we are ready to move forward with a plan on getting Bruce Beach done, we're ready to move forward at that point with them and get the fixes done that we need to do. So I think we're ready to go with them. But I think we got to be ready to go at the whole time while we've got a package and we're ready to go with the development of Bruce Beach. So I think those are things that will work hand in hand. And if we do that, we'll have a place, a good place where people can come to, and it certainly will be workable and clean up.
What does that mean exactly? You're ready to go?
I think if we get marching orders to get Bruce Beach done, I think we'll certainly have commitment from ECUA, and we'll move forward on getting what we need to do to get the sewage out of the stormwater and get that fixed.
I mean, so does that imply like funding associated with?
I'm sure all those things coming together, and when you have the funding to move forward, we'd get that done at that time.
Okay, that sounds like a big chunk of money. What does that do to the math of Bruce Beach?
I mean, from our standpoint, it's not as significant from funding wise. It's more time and energy wise as far as getting resources to dedicate to finding where those connections are, and then from there, then separating them. It'll be some, but I mean, the bigger issue is just going to be the time and the manpower issue behind getting it done. So I think we have an event, and we know we got a solution coming for Bruce Beach. I think that's the time that you get all the stuff fixed.
What kind of commitment, financial, do you have from ECUA? This isn't their infrastructure, and
it is theirs and ours, and we've got a commitment from them to go find what's there. So, I think it's a case of just shutting off whatever those connections are. And I mean, the good news is the studies that were done are going to show us where we have our main problems.
I mean, not to, get ahead of ourselves or anything, but it's like, are we going to find a lot of aging infrastructure that's leaking all over the place, and it's not just Bruce Beach. I mean, you got Sanders Beach right there, you got.
If we do, we'll certainly find those things and we'll do that. And I think when you have a project going on is the time you get the impetus and the desire to go through and fix it. I think when you don't have it, it's hard to get the impetus because you do have all these other projects. So how do you differentiate between Sanders Beach, Bruce Beach, the one down the other? The one that you're about to put a park out there and you're about to put people at, that's the one I think you try to go get done.
I guess I'm just wondering, are we putting a Band-Aid on like an amputation? I mean, ECUA has always said there's aging infrastructure down here that has to be dealt with, but they can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. Is this the beginning of that process of dealing with?
I hope it is. I hope we move forward and get some things done that we need to do. We've tried to work with him in good partnership and help him out, so that we can help him with the the infill stuff that happens on pipes that are on private property. We've tried to work with him on a number of issues that help them and continue to make our community better, and we're going to keep working on those. So, yeah, I think when you have a project happen, that's when it's time to get something done, and I think now's as good a time as ever. So, I mean, when you're going to be out there doing stuff already, you need to be connected to it and make those things work. So, we've got their commitment on board. If we can just get forward and move the Bruce Beach Park, we'll be ready to go. If we don't, we'll still have all the aging infrastructure. We'll have another place, and we'll be unfocused about where we want to go, and we won't know what to do. So we'll be there. But those are the places we'll see what we've got. But I think at this particular time, Bruce Beach gives us a chance to be focused and call attention to it and get it fixed. All right, thank you very much.